Hi, everyone. This is Mac, VP of Quality, and welcome to the video prep for our group conversation coming up on October the 4th, which is a Monday of calendar year 2021. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So first off, I would like to welcome our new team members joining. Welcome. I do want to highlight two new job families being opened up. One is in the open source outreach team. This is going to help us execute further on our open core and contributor strength. And the other one is a new job family and an opening for a manager in the engineering analytics team that's coming up in Q4. Next up, I want to talk about OKRs. The first OKR is about contributions. We're not doing well here for full transparency. We are making a good collaboration with our counterparts in marketing, the community relations team. The contributors are in a sustained state. It hasn't been upticking high in the high numbers that we are looking for, but we do have hackathons and more events coming up that will hopefully push the momentum. We're also looking at how to decrease the review time for community contributions. We are going to implement a code sync indicator with Jihu. We have scoped this down, and I believe we can deliver an MVC by the end of this quarter. And lastly, we still need to make some headway in coaches. We have improved the materials. However, we need to enlist more people and volunteers. Next up in the OKRs is to improve product quality. Great progress here. I believe we will get a majority of these in around the 65th percent or 70, fingers crossed. We do have great updates in Get project and in project course, engineering allocations, reducing, implementing the staging environment, the new staging environment. We're making good progress on the team OKR, new job family, performance indicators. We are hiring to plan, and we are making good progress on our 360 reviews. Next up, a brief update in our KPIs. MRA has slowed down. We haven't put attention here much. We have been prioritizing contributors and increasing those. The open community MRH, or short for OCMA, needs to be sustained further. We are stabilizing the trend, but still this needs attention. Master pipeline and review app stability is in a great state. Master pipeline is now above 90% and sustained for 5 months. Great job for the engineering productivity team and our counterparts that are helping out. Review app is also improving as well. We did an experiment earlier on, which reduced the stability. We're adding more tests and more load, hence we are intentionally raising the bar and using more, stretching it out, then dogfooding more. And now we are bringing the success rate up again, which is great. Time to failure slightly increased. I believe it's in the 15-minute range, still around the target. We'll do an update on that later in the EP space. Bugs, S1 OBA, Open Bug Age, is under target. Great job, quality engineering sub-department for driving this. We're going to lower the target further from 150 days down to 100 days to keep our momentum and ambition. S2s, however, hasn't been getting that much progress. It's increasing, but the backlog has been decreased. It points to the teams are closing out more recent S2s, which is great. Next up, we will be continuing to focus on age and closing all of them out. Retention is in a good state. Average of open positions improve, but we are keeping attention here. And lastly, the set gearing ratio, it is improving, though I'm keeping this in a red state until we are getting closer to the target. We are though making hiring progress in those fronts. Now, moving on to contributors efficiency, we're working closely with our community relations team. We completed a hackathon, which helped sustained the recovery of contributors per month. It's around 78, I believe. You pay attention to the screenshot here. So we're seeing a recovery up, though not at the high end of the range that we want to go yet. We have completed a stale MR report. So this is a report that lists community contribution MRs that hasn't been merged for a long time. This also aligns with measuring open things, open age and count, and getting all of those closed out or merged. We have a lot of improvements lined up. The community relations team is going to launch a contribution experience survey. We have an OKR aligned together and at the company level to increase the contributors to 120 per month. There's a Hacktoberfest going on now. Thank you, Noritzi, Kyle, and people that are helping out. We are going to focus on decreasing OCMA, the open community MRH. Other updates, there's a proposal to use co-creators, and we can talk about it in the upcoming group conversation, and versus using code contributors. The context here is because we are accepting contributions from open and closed source. We are also wanting to accept contributions in other things besides code, test, documentation, design reviews, and all the broad spectrum of community work. And then lastly, we are going to look deeper into each product groups to see how we are merging MRs in an efficient manner. So we have the measurement at the top level. Now we're going to do a deeper dive in where the hotspots are, if each product groups, they need help or not, and then take it further from there. Next up is an update on the Ally OKR tool rollout. I believe right now engineering and product are both in Ally. The integration to the handbook embedding has been completed. And now I also want to point out there was a LinkedIn kudos from the VP of sales at Ally showcasing the collaboration between both of our companies. They did showcase our feature request to have OKRs embedded, and we're showcasing how we are handbook first and being transparent to the world on our ambition. On the engineering analytics team front, great progress on OKRs overall. It's also in the handbook. Next two is around metrics for engineering. I want to give a brief update on Infradev and the measurements there. So our team has delivered the dashboard, the Infradev dashboard. We are keying in on open age and count. So we have both monthly and daily charts for all the severities. We are having a top level view down on all the Infradev in all product groups. And I want to call out the team is making good progress here. We're starting to see the number of issues overall decrease, but we still need to pay attention on clearing out the overdue backlog. And then next up is we will add this momentum to S1 and S2s. Once they're in a good state, we'll move to S3s and S4s, and we'll take learnings here into implementing the engineering allocations that's coming up next, which I want to talk about. So engineering allocations, you can see this as a next evolution of Infradev. Infradev is issues requested by infrastructure and delivered by the development teams, and also sometimes a product group together as a whole outside of development as well. So to scale up our process into the future, we need a nomenclature and accounting method that can measure requests and also DRIs, or engineering departments, that need to deliver on those requests. And those are called as consumer and then producers. So consumers are the departments that are making the requests. Producers are the ones that are producing the requests. There's a diagram here. Our first iteration is to implement this communication triaging mechanism for the 5 departments listed here. What's been completed? Labels are created. Trash automation has already been completed. We have identified the metrics very close to what you saw in Infradev. So open age and count of the issues. We're close to getting an MVC done at around 80%. We need some more polish. Next up is to deliver the views for all the engineering department VPs, so the view from the producer, and then we'll gather feedback from there. Moving on to engineering productivity. OKRs, enabling the launch of GitLab.cn. There's one OKR there to implement the code sync performance indicator. We're going to scale this back down to an MVC where we're measuring the open age of GU contributions, and that's a better small iteration that we think we can deliver faster. And just an overview of, as I said before, the master pipeline success rate is in a good state. Review app has recovered. And time to failure, it's at 15 minutes. It's still around our target, and we will stand the line here. And I believe next up will be Tanya to give an update on the quality engineering subdepartment.
Hi there, I'm Tanya. I'm the Director of Quality Engineering here at GitLab, and I'm going to present some of the quality engineering subdepartment updates for this group conversation. Let me share my screen. Great. The first slide here is about our OKRs. We're doing pretty well overall. The bottom OKR, where we're a little bit behind, is driving team member satisfaction through career growth conversations. Based on the 360 schedule, we're having those conversations now, and I expect in the next week or two, we'll see that percentage pop up quite a bit and start to look better. Next up, our KPI updates. I'm excited to say that our S1 OBA reached its current intended target, and OBA stands for Open Bug Age. So we're planning to reduce the target to stay ambitious. It was 150 days, and we're going to push it down to 100 days. We only have 8 open S1 bugs, which is very exciting, but that means that any that are older do have a larger than intended effect on the average. So we'll be looking to work with product groups to get those closed. Next up, S2 OBA is S2 OBA improvement is a focus area for us for Q3 that will likely continue into Q4 due to the volume of bugs in this bucket. In the next iteration, there are 2 additional APIs that we're looking to build out. The first is average end-to-end test suite duration, and the second is the average age of quarantined end-to-end tests. We're hoping to have these done in Q3, so we should be able to report on them in our next group conversation. Next up, our deploy with confidence epic. This has been a huge focus for us this quarter, in line with the reliability focus that all of engineering has. We have completed dogfooding the test cases feature and updating our test reporting to use that. We've also completed the first iteration of tracking pass rate metrics for the end-to-end test suite. We have several things in progress this quarter. The first is building a mixed deployment test suite. Next is making review QA smoke job mandatory. That should help prevent regressions from being found on staging and later on in the deploy process. We're working to reduce the number of quarantine tests we have. We're working to close out quality corrective actions, and we're building more robust feature flag practices in our end-to-end tests. And then for next quarter, we're going to improve our test setup, test data, execution, and cleanup. This is all with a reliability and efficiency focus. And then we'll also work to proactively promote tests to reliable, automatically quarantine tests and selectively execute tests. This should help us block deployments more ambitiously when things go wrong. It should help us unblock as well more quickly when we can automatically quarantine. And it should help us have shorter test runs if we can selectively execute the correct tests based on the changes. Our achievements so far. So we released version 1.2 of the GitLab Environment Toolkit, also called Get. We also released version 2.9 of the GitLab Performance Tool, GPT. We have expanded the cloud native hybrid instructions to cover all the reference architecture levels for all user accounts. We have generally improved documentation about our reference architecture work and performance testing and what we do and what cadence. We have built the first iteration of mixed deployment node tests. They've been added to the staging pipelines. And then we've also improved our SCT onboarding for the secure stage. And we expect that to, in the future, expand to other stages as well. Additionally, we have continued to improve our end-to-end test suite. We've promoted several tests to reliable and smoke. We have reduced test flakiness. We've added nightly runs for the customer's end-to-end tests. We've improved test speed and improved search results for better visibility. We have also added load testing for pipeline execution, which is very exciting. Our work in progress. So the 2 main things that we're working on is increasing test coverage and increasing the test efficiency. So there are many areas where we're working to increase the coverage. The first and foremost is Gidly. We're also working on cloud licensing, user registration and billing, search, pipeline execution, geo, and mobile browser testing as well. As far as efficiency goes, we're working to trigger the full suite of end-to-end tests on feature flag toggles. This should help us catch any kind of issues before they reach production. We are working on making a more efficient approach towards test, record, recall functionality in search, and then we're refactoring package tests to separate by the endpoint level. Additionally, there's quite a bit more going on in Get, aligned with product and supporting project tours. We have links here to the version 1.3 and 2.0 releases, but there's much more to come in addition to that. We also are working to implement geo failover and recovery strategy within Git. And then lastly, we're supporting moving CI and storage purchasing to GitLab.com in alignment with product for fulfillment. Thank you so much for listening.